Howdy folks, welcome to the channel. I'm Don, this is Rockin' the Country. I do non-pop country music reactions, so if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. That's what you can expect here. It's country, it's bluegrass, it's western, it could be Cajun, it could be some red dirt, all that, but it's going to be non-pop. Emily Scott Robinson's song, The Time for Flowers. Nobody requested this. I saw it mentioned in a Reddit thread. And so I said, you know what? It's been a while since I've done an Emily Scott Robinson song. And I know Tupelo Honey is going to chime in on this one. I'm just guessing because she introduced me to Emily Scott Robinson. Well, no, I don't think, yeah, you may have introduced me. It was The Dress. And Tupelo Honey had either introduced me to, or it's where her and my relationship started. And we haven't spoken in a while now, but you know, we'd become friends and such. And she's down in Mississippi, hence the name. But Emily Scott Robinson's The Time for Flowers. I don't know the song. Emily is an absolute sweetheart. She commented on, I've done a couple of reactions to hers, and whenever the artists themselves post on the YouTube channel or on my Facebook page for Rockin' the Country, it endears me deeply because I am such a sap. But it does. It means a lot to me because I know a number of artists see the reactions I do, but they don't comment. And fair enough. Some people just stay out. You know, it's extra work to keep responding to people commenting. You don't want to offend or upset or insult fans who might leave a comment in the YouTube section, but then you don't respond to them. That can be off-putting. So I get it. But when they do comment, it seriously endears me. So anyway, here we go.
Down the road with a heavy heart and miles left to go, when I came upon a woman in a field on her knees, singing ancient songs and sowing wildflower seeds. Tell me, what's the point in planting pretty things in these days of darkness and disease? The world is burning, have you not heard? And she smiled and said, honey, I've lived long enough to learn.
Yeah.
The time for flowers will come again. The time for flowers will come again.
I love the way she's wording this. I've said this many, many times in my life to folks. As I've gotten older and come to understand life, as she mentioned in there, you know, about the older woman saying, I've lived long enough to know the time of flowers will come again. And I've said, you know, life is very difficult. And we in America, we have this culture of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that pursuit of happiness has in many ways turned into the guarantee of happiness. And that is a disillusionment that carries through with a lot of people, that they think they are guaranteed happiness. And we are not. There's nothing on planet Earth that guarantees us happiness anywhere. And the subtext of it all is that we're going to die one day. And that's not, I mean, it's literally morbid to say that, but yes, it's just true. But along the way, there are going to be moments of joy. And when you live through a brutal hardship like a divorce or death, or death of somebody that's very close to you or what have you, you realize, look, that delusionment, that illusion is shattered, that life is all about a guarantee of happiness. And what you do is you lower your bar, you lower your standards. That sounds bad. Don't ever lower your standards. It's no, lower your expectations. They automatically get lowered anyhow. In one sense, it's like, and studies have shown this too, is that when you have your first car accident, your peripheral vision automatically expands after that. Your mind opens up to the world of danger. And it's a similar thing when you go through the brutality of a divorce, the pain, the emotional pain, or just a very bad breakup. It's certainly a divorce where you realize that the world is not the place that incubates guaranteed happiness or even serenity. It's you have to learn to deal with it. And you do, sometimes subconsciously, but frequently you've got to give yourself a push and accept that life is very difficult. But when those moments show up of flowers, those are the moments that you just revel in. You just enjoy them when they're here. And then when they fade a bit and something bad happens again or difficult or boring, then you just adjust. But the moments of happiness will return at some point. And don't blow past them thinking, oh, the crappy moments are going to return. You pause and you just compartmentalize and you let yourself enjoy those moments.
I've witnessed funerals and wars, worried mothers, empty shelves and empty stores. The storms will rage and the winds will blow.
Love it.
And you are gonna find out that you're stronger than you know. And the time for flowers will come again. Maybe in 1 year, maybe in 10. There are days despair will win, but the time for flowers will come again.
Nice.
And when I woke up this morning, something deep had shifted. The sun was coming out and the clouds had finally lifted. It's time to fix what's broken, all the willing and the able. And when our honest work is done, we'll gather at this table. We'll hold each other's babies and pour each other's wine, and promise to remember that your fate's bound up in mine. The skies are clear now, the moon is new. Let's raise a glass, my friends, we made it through. And the time for flowers has come again. And though it seemed the world would end, there were days despair did win. But the time for flowers has come again. The time for flowers has come again.
Yeah, she finally looked at the camera. That was cute. Yeah, that is, I'm guessing that this was probably, 5 years ago during COVID and the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and all that. And there's a lot that's come out since then about that. But, Emily Scott, really, Emily, there's another Emily Robinson, and she didn't want to be confused with that Emily Robinson, so it's Emily Scott Robinson, but I'll call her Emily. Clearly has a heart, to heal relations in the country and all that stuff, and like race relations. And it was a beautiful way of putting it out there. And I like that too, because when I was younger, I did a video. I mentioned it in my last video too. It's 2 in a row here for a little racial theme. Tom T. Hall's song about Coop Marsalis. I talked about this in that, but I did a video a while ago for my life coaching channel about healing relations between black folks and white folks. And it was prior to, Black Lives Matter and all the stuff that went on with that. Have your opinions on what you will, but still, you could just look at bringing attention to certain things and just being kind to everybody. it's kind of that simple. And Emily Scott was on that with just her beautiful, affable, friendly, welcoming, endearing, loving voice and way about her. So I'm going to rate this song. And the number that popped into my head was a 9.2. It was just very pretty picking. It was very pretty, and it was gorgeous. I mean, just, when you see somebody's heart, and that's one of the things that can bridge the political divide. We're becoming much more ideologically motivated, and I think the social media has a part in it, not in the way people think. I think the way social media impacts us is that over the last 20 years, since the advent of Facebook and then Instagram and Snap, people are giving their opinions more and more and more. And so you become more wedded to your opinions that you're giving, and then you want to defend them. And then the entire process, they're known as sunk costs in economic terms. And it's the same principle that the more heart and soul, and in financial terms, opening a business, money, but in this context, ideologically, the more heart and soul you put into a line of thinking, the more you're going to defend it. And so gradually, at the margins begin to move apart. And then you begin to get really angry at the other side that they're diminishing or demeaning your position. And then it becomes this culture of anger. My take on that is that you've just got to be aware that that's the direction you're going in. And if you look to validate another person's perspective, you don't have to agree with it, but listen long enough to understand it and not have this visceral, emotional, knee-jerk reaction to oppose it, but to contemplate it. You might even get some insight on your own, and so might the other person if they're approaching it the same way, and communication can improve. But when this one is screaming from this perspective and this one is screaming from the opposite perspective and the name calling begins, you're not going to get there. But this was just very, very pretty. So anyway, Emily Scott, if you see this, thank you. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. See you on another video. Keep being kind and keep rocking the country.
Came upon a woman